Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you a new series. What if Naruto became the Wind God? Part 1. If you enjoyed this and want to see part 2, just comment down below and tell me that you want to see part 2 guys. And you can also go ahead and check out TH4N and enjoy it for yourself. I'll be leaving a link down in the description for you guys to enjoy. And remember, comment down below and tell me that you want to see part 2 guys, and it will be out as soon as possible. And remember to go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto. Learn the clone secret in the beginning and enjoy that guys. And I also posted a new episode of What If Naruto got his memory sealed away, so go ahead and enjoy it as well. And yeah, remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and click that red subscribe button on Anime King and Anime King 2 and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, so what do you say we begin this new series? It was late in the night of the ever-peaceful village Konoha. One figure could be seen walking behind the Hokage's monument in the woods. He had blonde hair with blue eyes. It's been a month since he has been thrown out of the orphanage. As Naruto just wondered, with no particular goal in his mind. Well, he was mostly thinking about why the people always look at him with those hateful eyes. Damn, I'm so tired. It's been 2 days since I last ate. I remember he went behind the Akamichi barbecue restaurant and he found some leftovers in the garbage, and they were still eatable. He then saw something moving in the bushes. A kunai fly past his face, embedded right behind him. There he is guys, the demon's alone. Let's get him. Naruto heard footsteps, a lot of them coming in his direction. What do you people want, Naruto asked. The man stepped forward out of the group. I want my son back, you monster, as the people all gathered around him. Your son? Where is he? Naruto said as he didn't understand. What does this man's son have to do with him? Don't play innocent with me, demon. You killed my son, and I'm finally going to get my revenge tonight. As more and more people started to join him. The crowd then break apart as one man stepped forward as he was dressed in shinobi gears. As Naruto started to see that the crowd was full of shinobis as well. Several of them were in the headbands and shinobi gear, with civilians as well. Mr. Shinobi, Naruto said, please help me. This man wanted to hurt me, but I'm innocent, I swear. But to his surprise, the man pulled a kunai and threw it right at him, as the thing hit him right in the chest. Before Naruto could even say anything, everything went dark. Meanwhile, the Hokage's tower, Hiruzen, was going over paperwork as he just left a council meeting. The council was consist of 3 powers: the civilians, the elders, and the ninja. The ninja side had different clan heads: Fukaku Uchiha of the Uchiha, Hayashi of the Hyuga, Kasumi of the Inuzaka, Shibi of the Aburame, Shikaku of the Nara, Inoichi of the Yamanaka, Choza as the Akamichi, and Asuma as the Sarutobi clan. The civilian side had the most powerful civilian families, and his last 2 teammates were on the council side along with Danzo. Today's council meeting was about the same thing, the same subject. Naruto Uzumaki. Flashback. We cannot continue to let that demon grow up. Hokage-sama, one of the civilians said. We have to kill it before it's too late, another one said. Sarutobi flared his chakra in the room, as all of them quickly shut up. You will do nothing to the boy. I need to remind you fools that the law is still in effect. Just because we're in this room, you cannot talk as you wish. The next one to say anything would be accordingly punished. As Danzo saw opening, Sarutobi, if I could, he will not be placed in one of your youth centers neither, Danzo, said Sarutobi. As he thought about Root, he knew that Danzo never really abandoned the situation, but he had no proof on man. Maybe if we could adopt, said Tasumi. Never, the Uchihas will never allow that thing to be adopting any of the Konoha noble family. It will break the balance, said Fukaku. End of the flashback. Today's meeting ended the same way. Any way to try and improve the boy's life ended in a, well, clash down by the elders or the civilian side. Any attempt to adopt the boy as well was also vetoed. He could only block their attempt to kill the boy that he came to see as a grandson. Sarutobi had recently just came back from the sand, a long trip, and he hasn't been able to visit Naruto. As he wondered, what is he up to now? He was a bit surprised he just returned to the village today. As soon as he got back, they wanted a council meeting while the civilians had asked for one. It was then that Sarutobi felt it. An explosion of chakra, so dark and evil it would only mean one thing. Sarutobi's eyes went wide as he quickly reached for his crystal ball. As he tried to locate Naruto, he came to an utter stop to what he saw. Meanwhile, in the woods, bodies were flying everywhere, blood covered the entire area as Naruto stood there in the center. His eyes were slitted and red, his whisker marks were more pronounced. Everyone around him, all of them were dead, ninjas, civilians. His body then gave out on him as he collapsed to his knees before falling down, face first, unconscious. Naruto woke up in a sewer. Where the hell am I? He said, as he looked around for a minute before walking, trying to find out where he is. Before he arrived to some giant gates with a strange mark on it, right in the center. He kept on walking as he went right through the bars and went inside the cell. He then heard something as he took a few more steps and saw a woman. She was panting. She was on the ground panting, trying to regain her breath. She was beautiful. She had red hair and red eyes. She wore a black kimono. She had on no shoes. Naruto blinked twice as he noticed there was 9 tails behind her, as they were just flowing freely. He was confused. Miss, you alright? Naruto said. She turned her head to his direction. Her eyes went wide in surprise. Naruto-kun, she said, you're here. As she rushed towards him and grabbed him in a tight hug. I was so scared for you when I saw what was happening outside, she said. Do I know you? Naruto asked. And how do you know my name? As Naruto was confused, she released the hug as she then stepped back away from him. I'm so sorry, Naruto-kun, she said. I am the reason. The reason? Said Naruto. Yes, I am the reason why everyone hates you. Why you're alone right now, she said, in this world. But how? Said Naruto. I mean, I've never seen you before, so how could you be responsible for what the villagers call me? Do you know of what happened 6 years ago, when Konoha almost faced total destruction, the woman said. Yes, the Kyuubi attacked the village and killed a lot of people, before the 4th Hokage killed it, said Naruto. No, that is not the truth of what happened. You see, the Kyuubi cannot be killed. Even if it get badly damaged, it will just reform somewhere else after some time. The 4th Hokage had no other choice but to seal the Kyuubi. He sealed it into a newborn, so it could blend with a child's chakra, and that it wouldn't destroy the body of someone who was already having chakra flowing through their system at a productive rate already. Wait, do you mean me? Said Naruto. So, I'm the demon who took so many lives? It was me? He said. You are wrong, Naruto-kun, she said. I am the Kyuubi, and we are 2 different entities. So, what is this place? Said Naruto. We are in the seal. In your mindscape. When you were stabbed earlier, I forced all the chakra I could out to help you heal. As Naruto stayed silent for a while before asking why. Then why did you help me if you're the same demon who attacked the village all those years ago? I will not tell you everything, but it wasn't my intention to attack the village. I was forced to do it by someone with incredible power, she said. No, you did not answer me, said Naruto. Why did you help me? If I die, can't you just escape? So why help me? I never wanted you to suffer. All those years I tried to contact you, but the seal prevented me from doing so. The injury you received this night. Help me. Naruto touched his chest, being a 6-year-old naive kid that he is. Thank you, he said. You're the only one except Gigi who has ever helped me my entire life. Thank you for that. She was surprised and taken aback, thinking that he might yell or curse at her. So, do you not fear me? After what I just told you that I am the Kyuubi, she asked. Naruto rubbed the back of his head. Why should I fear you, he said. I mean, you're just a beautiful lady, he said. You can't be a bad person. She smiled as she shed more tears and smiled at him. Thank you, Naruto-kun, she said. Thank you so much for not hating me. And you should know that my real name is not Kyuubi. That's my title. My real name is Natsuki. It's nice to meet you, Natsuki, Naruto said. I am Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage of Konoha. It's nice to finally meet you, Naruto Uzumaki, she said. Hokage, huh? What about I help you achieve your dream? Seeing that you just activate your ability, I can help you. Huh? What ability? Naruto asks. You now have the ability to control the wind to a level that no one in this world can ever reach. With the appropriate training from me, you will become unstoppable. So, do you want me to train you? She asks. Naruto's eyes went wide. You're gonna train me? That would be awesome, he said, as he rushed up and hugged her. As he's never gotten training before, she couldn't help but smile. As she looked down at him. Naruto-kun, it seems like you're waking up. You have to go now, she said. We will talk about training later. Wait, will I see you again? Naruto asked. Of course, she said. We can talk to each other now, since we have made our first contact. As he started to fade away from the mindscape. Goodbye, he said, as she waved him off. Naruto's eyes slowly started to open. As soon as he opened them, he noticed a white ceiling. As he looked around, before spotting, a smile came on his face. You're finally back, Gigi, he said. Time skip. It has been 6 years. As Naruto was in his apartment now, thinking what happened that day that made him who the man he is today, and why he gained his apartment, everything that happened. Flashback 6 years ago, as Naruto woke up in the hospital to see Sarutobi there. Naruto, my boy, says Sarutobi. How do you feel? As Naruto clenched his fist a bit. I got stabbed by one of the ninjas. Sarutobi lowered his head in shame to hear that. Naruto, I'm sorry for not being there for you, but can you please tell me what you remember from last night? Naruto, calm down, said the voice. It's me, Natsuki. Now, repeat after me. He remembered the voice of his newest friend and followed her lead. He explained how he was thrown out of the orphanage 1 month ago, just before Sarutobi left for the Hidden Sand for his diplomatic mission. As he talked about how he survived for that month, up to the point where he got stabbed and lost consciousness. Sarutobi was pissed. He was beyond pissed that the council took advantage of the meeting to try and take out Naruto. He realized why they called for a meeting as soon as he reached here. They tried to starve the boy to death, or at least weaken him, to the point where he could not put up a fight or try to escape when they made their move. And they will try to justify his death. This made Sarutobi just even more angry. But he calmed himself as he was talking to Naruto now. Naruto, this is important. Do you remember anything after you got stabbed yesterday? As he was curious to see if the boy came in contact with his tenant. No, Gigi. All I knew is that I woke up here, said Naruto. Where will I live now, Gigi? The people of the orphanage kicked me out, and they never let me play with any of the other kids. As he spoke with sadness in his voice, as Sarutobi clenched his fists. But he had to keep himself calm. He was with Naruto now. These people, doing this to a young child. The child who is saving all of your life by holding back the demon. Naruto, I have a solution to your problem, but first I have to ask you a question. Do you want to become a ninja to serve your village and be a protector of the will of fire? As he looked directly in Naruto's eyes. Really? You let me become a ninja? Sarutobi nodded. Yes, Naruto, starting tomorrow, you will enter the academy. You will get an apartment and you'll come to me each week to get your money to buy what you need. How's that sound? A big smile came on Naruto's face. That will be awesome, Gigi. I'll become the best ninja ever. Thank you, Naruto said. End of the flashback. The last 6 years has been quite exciting Naruto. After 1 year of the academy, understand that those teachers would never teach him anything to help his career as the future greatest ninja and becoming Hokage. But it did not stop him. He already has someone who will help him. Thinking about her, she was the one that helped him the most. Flashback 6 years ago, after the first day of the academy. Are you sure that they were lying to me about teaching me how to be a proper shinobi? Naruto asked. Yes, Naruto-kun, I'm sure, she said. You will learn in time how to read people's emotions and know when they're lying to you. So how will I become the best ninja if no one's gonna teach me, said Naruto. Do you forget who you're speaking to? I have thousands of years of experience, and I doubt that you can find someone else to get you to understand how your bloodline truly works. Wait, I have a bloodline? What is it? Can I have the cool eyes as those ninja as I saw once, said Naruto. Natsuki had to slap her forehead. Do you not remember last night when I said that you unlock your ability? Oh yeah, the wind thing, so that's my bloodline, said Naruto. Well, that's only one of them. You have another one that come from one of your parents. Did you know that you never experienced illness? Or the fact that you heal a lot faster than anyone else around you, Natsuki asked. Well, not really, I thought it was normal, said Naruto. It also gives your body higher depth to any environment, and you also have a large amount of chakra. The seal is converting my chakra permanently into your body to increase your chakra output and your density of your chakra. But is it not dangerous if I take all of your chakra, said Naruto. As he had concern in his tone, he did not want to lose the first friend he had after the old man. Don't worry, it doesn't work like that. And besides, I have plenty of chakra. You don't even tap up to my first tail of chakra yet, she said. Okay, said Naruto. So, when will you teach me that wind thing? Will I be able to fly? Will I be able to launch Godzilla, wind monster, at my enemies? Naruto asked excitedly. Through and through, he was still 6 years old right now, so he easily forget things. Easy, Tiger. You will learn everything in time, I promise you. For now, your body is not ready yet, and those fools at the academy will not teach you anything, so we will adapt to the best we can. You will rest your body, since we can't do much, since you're at the academy most of the day. And then you will come into the mindscape once you're finished with that, so I can begin training you. It shouldn't be too hard. You remember that guy with the pineapple head? Yeah, said Naruto. You just have sleep just like him, all day. They won't bother you too much, since they don't want to teach you anyways. Then when you leave the academy, you will come and train your body every night. Sounds like a plan, said Naruto. End of the flashback. And so his days went like that for 6 years. As for the first 2 years, he had to work on the physical, so his body would be prepared for the future techniques that he would learn. He would learn about the theory of chakra, how it was formed, and what it could do. The third year was devoted to learn the Kitsune Taijutsu style. It was a style that was based on evasive movements, feint, and counters. He developed the body to use his style, flexibility. He had some light muscles so he can move fast, and agility. During the day, he would learn various subjects with Natsuki, ranging from philosophy and strategy. The fourth year was used for weapons. He learned everything from swords play to kunai, shurikens, senbons, as Natsuki taught him the Kinjutsu Kitsune style. Strangely, she said that a bow would suffice and he didn't need to use heavy weapons. He did not want to argue with her, so he did as he was told. The fifth year, it was basic ninjutsu training. She taught him every basic ninjutsu he would need in the future. He learned hench and substitution, but it was difficult for him to learn the shadow clone. She saw the problem immediately and decided to teach him the other one, the multi-shadow clone jutsu. He spent a year perfecting those techniques, and Natsuki already knew the advantage of the shadow clone, and she was planning on using that anyway. The final year, she decided that it was time to teach him how to use his bloodline. He tried to use the paper to test his wind affinity, but his affinity was so strong the moment he tried to channel chakra into the paper, it exploded. She thought that even if he did possess a second affinity, the first one was so powerful, they couldn't even tell what the second one was. Flashback, a year ago. So, what do I do to use my bloodline, Naruto asked. For starters, your bloodline gives you total control over the wind element. You won't need any hand signs to launch wind-based jutsus. In a fight where two opponents have the same strength face each other, your speed of delivering will put you over the victory all time. And you wouldn't have to call the jutsu before launching it. Just thinking about it would be enough to launch it. In a mission where stealth is needed, this will be a great effect for you. Now finally, and this is why I told you and teach you in science. Your wind is so powerful. You can control or counter any other elemental attacks used against you by using your wind element. Naruto was silent the entire time, but this one needed explanation. What do you mean I could counter or control any elemental technique used against me? He asked. I know for a fact that fire jutsus trump wind jutsus, he said. Excellent, Naruto-kun, I see you still remember what I told you about the elements. Now remind me the basic on the fire element, she said. Fire element is based on the ability of the user to expend his chakra in a combustible material to lit and the action continue as long as the combustible is present and the user channels his chakra for as long as the technique is recited. Good answer again, she said. Now tell me, what is the most combustible use during a fire elemental jutsu? Seeing the smirk on her face, Naruto remember, oxygen, he said. The ninja uses oxygen to fuel the technique. And I have total control over wind. So if I take away the air between us, no oxygen, no fire. That's genius, he said. That's correct, Naruto-kun, she said. And it's the same with the other techniques, just some other adaptations. Nothing you can't find out yourself, she said. End of the flashback. And so his last year was dedicated to learn wind jutsus and finding counters to the other elements that would be used against him. The only problem with his training was a secret training he didn't reveal to anyone, and about talking to the Kyuubi, not even the old man, nothing at all. But tomorrow was the time for Genin exams, and once he passed that test, he'll become a true genin of Konoha. But of course he had a thought in his head that a certain duck-headed, arrogant boy also had fire jutsus. He could use that to provoke him into a sparring to finally test his bloodline against someone else. Time skip, Naruto woke up the next day. As Naruto woke up in his apartment, his very comfortable apartment. It was a pretty apartment, very equipped. As you remember the day when he got it, everything was old when he got here and very dirty at first. As him and Natsuki went over the money that the old man gave him every week, and they decided how to sort it out and buy things for the apartment. But the first time Naruto went to a store to buy something, the shopkeeper scolded at him. When the time to pay came, the shopkeeper tripled the prices. As Naruto didn't think much of it, but Natsuki told him that the shop were ripping him off. So Naruto went to the old man and asked him why prices were double or triple for him. Needless to say, Sarutobi went with him and threatened all of them the removal of license and not being able to sell a single thing in Konoha ever again. So life went a lot better for Naruto after that event. After he took a bath and finished up everything for his morning ritual, he put on his clothes, as he had a white style envu pants with a long sleeve shirt, black Jonin protector vest, black fingerless gloves, and black boots. "Are you awake, Natsuki-chan?" Naruto asked. "Yes, Naruto-kun, I'm awake," she said. "So, are you excited? It's finally the day that you become a shinobi," she said. "You bet I am. What level of skills do you think I should show during the exams?" he asked. "Well, if we look at this, to consider who will be on your team once the exam is over, I think you should take Rookie of the Year." "Huh? What do you mean?" Naruto said. "Can you predict who will be my teammates if I graduate with the best score of the exams?" he asked. "Yes, remember how we learned about previous exams, and that Konoha tends to team up the Rookie of the Year, with the top Kunoichi and the students scoring the lowest score." "Yeah, you're right," Naruto said. "That way, I wouldn't have to be with the team." Looking at the Kunoichis, I would say that either Hinata or Sakura was the top Kunoichi, and Kiba or Shikamaru would be the lowest student who passed, Naruto analyzed. "Yes, that is correct. You cannot stand with that spoiled brat, and I hate his arrogant complex as well. So, we have to not get him on your team. So there is no need for you to hide your skills at this point. Furthermore, you should limit your skills to not go over Chunin level. That skills would be strangely suspicious for anyone to learn, especially an academy student." "That makes sense. I'll hide my more powerful techniques for later," said Naruto, as he headed off. As Naruto arrived on top of the academy, as he made his way down to the final day that he would be here. Upon entering his classroom, he saw that he was the last to arrive. There was mostly clan heads in his class, Aberme Shino, a guy that Naruto hasn't talked to up to this day, Choji Akamichi. He was always eating. Hinata Hyuga, a girl that Naruto never saw finish a sentence without stuttering. Kiba Inuzaka. He loved to pick a fight with the Uchiha, some kind of alpha male thing, as Natsuki explained to him. And the laziest person he ever met, Nara Shikamaru. And then there was Sasuke Uchiha. Some years ago an incident happened. The entire Uchiha clan was slaughtered. Sasuke had to be the arrogant person, the most arrogant person Naruto has ever seen. Even though he had some skills, he thought that he was gifted to shinobis by gods or something. And the most superficial girl in the class, Ino Yamanaka. The rest of the students were from civilian families, and only one or two had the skills to become a true ninja. Haruna Sakura being one of them if he ever decided to get her head out of the Uchiha's ass. After getting his seat, Iruka and Mizuki came in the class, as the first test was the written part, as Naruto finished his test and waited for the others to finish. The second part of the exam was accuracy, as he had to throw 10 kunais and 10 shurikens. Shino scored 7-7, Choji scored 7-6, 6 to the shuriken, 7 to the kunai. Hinata scored 9 on kunais and 9 on shurikens. "Excellent," said Iruka, as Hinata blushed before going back into the crowd. Kiba scored 5 on kunai and 5 on shuriken, as he left the spot with a skull on his face. Shikamaru scored 5 on kunai, 6 on shurikens. Sasuke scored 10 on kunais and 9 on shurikens. He had a skull on his face, as the last one throw didn't have enough strength to stay in the post. But when he turned, he scowled at Naruto, but then smirked. "Beat that dope," he said, as Naruto went over with a bored look on his face. As he started to analyze everything, he applied a bit of wind chakra before throwing all the kunais. Everyone went quiet. Even the target was pushed back a bit because of the strength that came from the kunais. Iruka's eyes widened. Sasuke's smirk instantly disappeared. "Lucky shot, dope," Sasuke said, but he was fuming inside to what just happened. But Naruto simply smirked. Low speed, penetration power, curve power to the target, ear resistance, by factor 2, meteor-sized layer of wind chakra over the shurikens, each. As he launched them one by one, everyone's jaw dropped, as Iruka couldn't believe what he was seeing. As Naruto hit everything. "Man, I'm so lucky today. I wonder what's going on," he said, a grin on his face. "But very good, Naruto," Iruka said. "You must truly be lucky today. Now for the next part of the exams. Now is the time to assess your taijutsu," he said. Students were paired 2 by 2 and the match went on for 3 minutes. The student hit the most parts of their opponent body won. Every fight went on until the last 2 boys were called. Uchiha Sasuke versus Uzumaki Naruto. "I wonder, is it luck or not that I have to face the emo king here," Naruto thought. "Begin," Iruka said. Sasuke charged and launched a barrage of punches and kicks. But Naruto started to weave around each of Sasuke's attacks. Sasuke started to fume as he could not touch Naruto at all. As Sasuke stopped, "I don't know what kind of style you're using, dope, but the one who invented it must be really stupid, since you can't even attack, only defend." But Naruto simply smirked, as the Kyuubi had stripped some things away from him a long time ago, for him to get just brain exploded angry and rush into situations without thinking first. As Naruto calmed himself, before charging wind chakra into his body and disappearing. Only thing Sasuke could see was after images. Sasuke saw Naruto come in and block the strike, but it was an after image that passed right through him, surprising Sasuke, before the real Naruto smashed his hand right into Sasuke's stomach. All the air was knocked out of Sasuke with such force that Sasuke instantly fell to his knees and passed out instantly. Iruka stood there with a shocked expression on his face. Everyone did, as he couldn't believe what just happened. Before he blinked twice, "Winner, Naruto Uzumaki," he said. The exam took a short recess for everyone to go eat and resume after that. Once everyone came back, alright, the last part of this exam is Ninjutsu Proficiency. As Naruto went in there and came out back with ease because he already learned all of those things. The clone jutsu, and also the transformation jutsu. But he noticed Mizuki scowling at him as he left the room, but he placed it in the back of his mind for now. When it was over, everyone returned back to their decks, as Iruka congratulated all of the students who passed and gave some words of encouragement to one that failed. Now is the time to announce the scores for the spot of rookie and kunoichi for the year. He will not announce the student that passed the lowest grade. That would just be a humiliation. For the spot of kunoichi of the year, Hyuga Hinata. Hinata blushed as everyone is looking at her. She hid her face quickly. Now, for the rookie of the year, Uzumaki Naruto. He said with pride in his voice as he was proud of Naruto. "What?" Sasuke says. He stood up from his decks. "This is not possible. How could this clanless fool be higher than Uchiha? I demand that you change your ranking and give me the rookie of the year," said Sasuke in rage. Iruka eyebrow twitched. Before Naruto spoke, "Dude, you're seriously messed up," he said. "Did that knockout I gave you earlier give you amnesia or something? I scored higher than you in weapon accuracy and obviously taijutsu. And ninjutsu proficiency should be pretty close too, since I doubt any of us failed that. You know what? I'll humor you. What about a sport is set in stone? Who the rookie of the year is? No move restriction, only rule is to not kill. How does that sound?" "Fine by me, dope," Sasuke said. "Iruka sensei," Naruto asked. "Are you sure about this?" Iruka asked. As Naruto nodded. "Alright then, both of you have 3 minutes and not 1 second more." As the both of them walked back over to the ring. "Begin," Iruka said. Sasuke quickly pulled 2 shurikens and launched them at Naruto. Talk about non-lethal moves, said Naruto, as he easily sidestepped the weapons. As Sasuke dashed towards Naruto to attack him, Sasuke lost all of his patience as Naruto kept on blocking or dodging his attack. He went through hand signs, fire style, fireball jutsu, he said, as he released a massive fireball. Iruka was about to jump in to stop this, but Naruto raised his hand as Iruka stopped. But he had fear in his eyes, worrying that Naruto would be able to stop it. Not too flashy, but still enough to put him in his place, Naruto thought. Oxygen decreased by 100% in a small radius field as Naruto pushed his wind out. The wind around him in a radius completely stopped. The moment the fireball reached Naruto, it simply dispelled into nothingness, as this left the entire assembly wide eyes. Was that supposed to do something, Naruto asked. Sasuke blinked because Naruto was already behind him, as Naruto chopped him in the back of the neck as he fell down. Iruka walked over, Winner, he said, Naruto Uzumaki. As Aruka was still stunned to what the hell just happened. Remember tomorrow's team placement, he said, as he looked at Naruto. Time skip. It was currently nighttime as Naruto was at his apartment. As he thought about everything that happened today, he was now a genin to Konoha, the protector of the will and fire, and an adult in the eyes of the rest of the world. This made him all thankful to Natsuki. It was all because of her. As from that night that they met, he was so grateful for everything that she had done for him. He shared everything with her, every single thing. Well, there was this one thing that he hid away from her. Something that he wanted to tell her when he felt the time was right. Tonight will be the night where he truly tells her how he actually feels. She always told him to face his problems head on and never to shy away from them. So, as Naruto closed his eyes and went into his mindscape, the mindscape has changed drastically since the first time he was here. As he stood in a beautiful clearing that average sized house in the center, as he made his way inside to see her sleeping in the couch in the living room, as she had on a beautiful silver necklace with a red ruby gem in the center, as it had a kanji for seal on it that were engraved in gold characters. As Naruto sat down, Natsuki-chan, he said, "Wake up." She slowly opened her eyes. As she blinked, "Naruto-kun," she said, "you're here. So how does it feel to take one step closer to your dream?" "It feels great," said Naruto. "Today when I left the academy building, I felt like I could take on the world. I felt like nothing could stand in my way," he said, a lot of determination in his voice. "I'm so proud of you," she said. "I'm sure that one day you will be the light for Konoha. Everyone will see how great you are. Great and kind, soul as I do," she said, with a proud smile. "It's all thanks to you. I don't know where would I be without you today," he said. "I came to tell you something tonight. Please let me finish before you reply. It's very important to me." She nodded. "I don't know where to start," he said, rubbing the back of his head, "so I'll just say it right from my heart. I love you," he said. "I've been in love with you for a long time now, and I just want you to know. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and I feel safe to talk about you for anything without fear. I know that I'm far from best for you to have, but I promise I'll always be there for you and protect you with all my might. Until the end of time," he said, looking straight into her eyes. "I want you to know I will find a way to get you out of the seal, I promise you. Even if you don't like me back, I will honor this oath I make to you." As he then looked at the ground nervously. "If only you knew," she thought, with tears in her eyes. "Before you say anything, I want you to listen to me and don't interrupt, okay?" As he nodded. "As you know, I was sealed inside of you on the day of your birth by the 4th Hokage after I lost control and attacked Konoha due to a man we will talk about later. What you don't know where I was before all of this happened. Before your birth, I was sealed inside of your mother, my second Jinchuriki." Naruto's eyes widened at the revelation, but he remained silent as he promised. "Your mother's name is Kushina Uzumaki and she was chosen to be my Jinchuriki. After the first one. After a special Uzumaki bloodline that made her the perfect host for me. We will talk about the Uzumaki bloodline later that go down in the females. But the day that she was giving birth to you, the seal started to weaken and I was forced out of her body by a man with very high power," she said. "I didn't even have time to notice that I was outside before he placed a jutsu on me to cloud my mind. The next thing I knew, I was sealed inside of you. And you were all alone," she said. "So if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here all alone." As she looked down, he didn't say anything, as tears were now running down her face. He then spoke. "This is not what I asked you," he said. "So how do you feel about me?" "Of course I love you too," she said. "You're such a kind and gentle soul. Any person would be an idiot to turn down your feelings," she said. "I was just so afraid that you would hate me. That is why I didn't say anything at first," she said. "Then doesn't change my feelings for you," Naruto said. "While I'm not entirely happy that you didn't tell me about my mom until today, I understand where you're coming from because I felt the same, thinking that if you didn't like me back. Furthermore, as you already told me, it was not in your intention to attack Konoha that night. You were forced to do it. And we will talk about that mystery man later," he said, with conviction in his voice. With nothing holding them back anymore, the both of them stepped forward and shared their first kiss, as it was everything that Naruto imagined. After breaking the kiss, he had a smile on his face, as he was beyond happy. "Now why don't you go and get some rest," she said. "You have team placement tomorrow." "I love you," said Naruto. "And I love you too," she said. Time skip. The next morning at the academy, Naruto had a big smile on his face the entire time, as he waited for Aruka and Mizuki. Oh yeah, Mizuki, that bastard. He was always glaring at him every time he got a chance. Aruka then walked in the class. Aruka sensei, what happened to your face? And where's Mizuki? He refused to call anyone sensei unless they truly deserve it. Aruka sighed, I'm sorry to say this to you all, who knew Mizuki, but yesterday he was found red-handed trying to steal the forbidden scroll of Konoha. I was the one who located him first before he could leave Konoha walls and stopped him. That is why I got these injuries. The scroll is safe and he has been taken into custody. Let's make this my final lesson to all of you. In a shinobi's life, today allies could be tomorrow's enemy and vice versa, he said. He said with seriousness in his voice. Well, let's get this done now, shall we? Now, Team 1. As Naruto waited until he reached up to Team 7. Sakura Haruno, Uchiha Sasuke, and Shino Aberami, your sensei will be Kakashi Hatake. As Sasuke screamed about winning, Shino didn't really show any emotions. Well, Naruto couldn't tell because of what he was wearing. And Sasuke was still glaring at him from what happened yesterday. Thank God we're not with him, it will be a recipe of disaster, Natsuki said, as she made her presence known. You're waiting, Natsuki-chan, Naruto said. Oh yes, Naruto-kun, she said. As Naruto blushed, still remembering what happened yesterday. Team 8, Inuzaka Kiba, Hyuga Hinata, Naruto Uzumaki, your Jonin sensei will be Kurenai. So Kiba was the dead last of this year, Naruto thought. Well, at least he's not a complete retard, and Hinata seemed capable if she just gained some more confidence. Kurenai is a Genjutsu mistress of Konoha. I'll be able to test my Genjutsu resistance against her. What do you think, Natsuki-chan? He asked. Well, that's great, she said. She can treat you fairly if we read the report about her is right, about her caring attitude and professionalism. Team 9 is still active from last year, Aruka announced. Team 10, Choji Akamichi, Naruto Shikamaru, and Ino Yamanaka. Your sensei will be Asuma Saratobi. That's all, stay here until your sensei gets you. And I'm very proud of all of you, and to be your teacher, he said. And with that, he left the classroom. As Naruto felt a bit sad now that he would see Aruka less from now on, as he was the only academy teacher who was ever fair to him. After a few minutes, a woman entered the classroom with Saratobi's son, Asuma Saratobi. I am Kurenai, she said. Jonin for Team 8. Please follow me to Training Ground 8. As Naruto looked at Kiba and Hinata as they got up and walked away to start their new journey of their life. After a while, the team arrived at Training Ground 8. Their Jonin sensei Kurenai, as she had long black hair with red eyes, as she wore the standard Jonin uniform but a little customized, and she was also a bit young. Welcome and congratulations on becoming real ninjas, you three, she said. You already know my name, but let's begin with some introductions, shall we? My name is Yuri Kurenai. I like training to perfect my Genjutsu skills, passing time with my best friend Anko, and eating dango. I dislike perverts, arrogant, and sexist people. My dream for the future is to teach you all to reach your full potentials, and to be one day recognized as the best Genjutsu user in all of the elemental nation. She then looked at Hinata, as she gave her a nod to go on. My name is Hyuga Hinata. I like my family and my family taijutsu style. My dislikes are the same as sensei, and my dream is to reunite my family, with no distinction between main and branch family, she said, as she was stuttering a little. As Kurenai nodded a smile before looking over at Kiba. My name is Inuzaka Kiba, and here's my companion, Akamaru. I like my family and my family fighting style and jutsus. I dislike fangirls, and arrogant pricks who think they're better than anyone, and people who disrespect dogs and animals all over. And my dream is to be the greatest clan head in the future. As Naruto nodded as he thought that Kiba was a good guy behind all of his idiocy. As she turned towards him, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like training and reading. I dislike arrogant people. And my dream is to become Hokage and protect everyone in Konoha. As Kurenai looked at the three of them, well, let's see how they do. As a team, she said. As she reached into her pouch, I'll do the same thing. Alright. There's a little test before anything. If you don't get one of these bells by the afternoon, you'll get sent back to the academy. What? Said Kiba. But wait, there are only 2 bells. Exactly, said Kurenai. You must come at me with the intent to get a bell, or you will not get one, she said. And remember, this is your fate of getting sent back to the academy. So, try and keep up, and try and get a bell. The test begins now. Before any of them could say anything, she vanished. As Kiba and Hinata looked at each other. They were about to run off in the forest and Naruto stopped them. Hey guys, wait. The both of them looked at him. This is a trap, Naruto said. We are supposed to work as a team to get those belts. How do you know that? Kiba asked. Hinata stayed silent as she was just blushing. Have you ever heard of a two-man team? Naruto asked. They shook their head no. Me neither. Konoha policy is to promote teamwork. So I think this is exactly what she wants us to do, work as a team. His teammates were surprised that Naruto would never stand out in the academy, was able to read through things like this. Kiba did not have a problem working in a team, since his family motto was to work as a good pack before all. As Hinata nodded as well, after thinking it over, they ran into the forest. They came across several traps and evaded them all, as Hinata had her Byakugan activated and she was at the front, as Naruto was in the center, as they remember his accuracy, so he could disarm any traps after Hinata pointed them out, as Kiba was at the rear, using his smell and his enhanced hearing to hear any attacks behind them. Kurona was impressed as she saw them going through her traps, so she decided to kick it up a notch. Hinata didn't stop. I can still see Sensei, but there's a problem, she said. Her chakra signature is coming from 4 different directions, but I cannot tell which one is the real one with my Byakugan. And they all smell the same as well, said Kiba. Alright, I have a plan, Naruto said. Listen to me. The moment Kurona and her clones arrived, several smoke bombs went off. When the smoke cleared away, after a gentle breeze blew it all away, Kurona saw several of herself standing there. 7 of them. She knew 3 of them were her clones. She found their strategy remarkable, and she wanted to see what exactly they were going to do, so she didn't dispel her clones. And besides, there was a hole in their plan. If she couldn't find which one of them was their clones, how would they? It was then that 4 of them charged at her and her clones, as they transformed back into the group along with Akamaru. Kiba and Hinata tried to use their clan style, but they were still overpowered by the clone. Kurona was a Jonin after all, as Akamaru was also defeated, leaving Naruto along with the real Kurona and one clone. The real Kurona smirked, as she was going to pass this team anyway of their teamwork and their strategy. But she was then surprised when her clone threw kunais and shurikens at her. As she quickly jumped away, she saw a blur past her. He's fast, she thought, before the impact, as she was sent flying away. She quickly jumped to her feet as she was ready to use a genjutsu to slow him down. But she blinked twice as she saw Naruto holding up the bells. I think we won, Sensei, Naruto said, that smirk on his face. She was astonished. She didn't even feel him taking away the bell. Very impressive, Naruto, she said. I didn't expect the clone facing Akamaru to be one of yours, and not mine. Thanks, Sensei, said Akamaru as he stood up from his fake, unconscious state, and joined his master who was really unconscious. How did you and the others knew which one of us was a clone, she said. It's easy, Naruto says. He held out his arm, as he was a marking right in his palm. Oh, so you marked them in the confusion. Exactly, Naruto said. Very well then. So who will be going back to the academy, seeing that you have the 2 bells? Hinata and Kiba slowly got up to their feet, shaking off their dizziness. It was a teamwork, Naruto said, and I needed both of them, and I will not leave behind my comrades, as he threw a bell to both Kiba and Hinata. The both of them were surprised that he didn't profit from their unconscious state to take a bell for himself, even if this wasn't about teamwork. Kurona couldn't help but smile with pride in her eyes. Team 8, you all passed my test, she said. Kiba jumped up with Akamaru in his arms. Do you hear that, buddy? We passed, he said. Hinata smiled and thought that maybe her father would be impressed with her for once, as Naruto felt pride as well, as he knew he could have gone up alone with Kurona, but sharing this moment with his teammates, it gave him a sense of teamwork and how everything was going to go along very nicely. That is all for today. Meet me here tomorrow at 9 and we will begin our mission, she said. Dismiss. Naruto, before you go, would you come with me to the Hokage's tower, please? I think there are things we need to discuss, she said. As he nodded, as he went with her, the other 2 wondering what was going on. Moments later at the tower, as Kurona was about to knock on the door, Naruto simply kicked the door open and went inside. Hey there, Gigi, long time no see, Naruto said. Guess what, I'm a shinobi now. That I see, my boy. It seems like you're one step closer to take my hat, said Sarutobi with a smile. Anyway, surely you didn't just come here to tell me that. After all, I am the one that made the team arrangements, and I already knew that, he said with a smirk. Actually, Hokage-sama, I am the one who called Naruto here, said Kurona, as she was surprised at their relationship. as Naruto wondered what was going on. During our fight, to see if they could work as a team, Naruto showed some impressive skills. Skills that are too impressive, she said. As she explained to the Hokage, and that last move, it was beyond genuine. Speed and power, seeing that he get past her so quickly. Naruto, please tell me how you could perform the Shadow Clone Jutsu, asked Sarutobi, as normal Shadow Clones was different, and this one was very harder to do because it separates the user's chakra. But Sarutobi knew that Naruto had so much chakra, so that he can do this without worrying about his safety. But he was curious about that. This technique was even in the Scroll of Forbidden Ceiling, so how could Naruto get his hand on it? Well, you want to make sure that the room is secure, JJ. You won't want the wrong people to be hearing this, as he saw how serious Naruto was, as he put up the precautions and sealed off the room. As Naruto nodded, so it all started from that attack 6 years ago, as he told him everything that he knew about his meeting and training with Natsuki, that he knew about his mother Kushina, and a man capable of controlling the Kyuubi. Sarutobi at first was scared that Kyuubi was somehow manipulating Naruto, but with the facts that Naruto gave him, and the fact that someone could manipulate the Kyuubi to attack Konoha, he knew that he would have to tell Naruto soon about his father. He just hoped that Jiraiya will be there to help him announce the news to Naruto. Kurenai was impressed what Naruto had to endure through his life up till now, but she was also saddened because Kushina was someone who taught her back then. She even called her a sensei, and this boy was her child. So, am I in trouble, Naruto asked. No, Naruto, you are not. Even though I would have preferred you to come to me and tell me everything sooner. I can understand, he said. After what Naruto has been through, we can't blame him. I understand why you couldn't reveal everything in our fight, Naruto, and I'm not mad at you. We will have to talk about what you can do though, for the team to function properly. While we are on the revelations, I can tell you that your mother was my Jonin sensei when I was a genin. I would be honored to tell you about her if you wish after this. As Naruto's relief, he never liked to lie to the old man. That will be all for now. The genin official papers will be ready by the end of the day, and I will see you and your team tomorrow for your official mission. Later that day, in Naruto's apartment. Do you think I made the right choice by telling them everything, Natsuki-chan? He asked. Only time will tell us, Naruto-kun. But I think they're trustworthy. Well, I guess I can call it a night tonight, said Naruto. Tomorrow's our first mission. I'm so excited. Time skip. A month has passed since they officially became Team 8. But it has been non-stop D-rank missions after D-rank missions, which are pretty boring. So they were currently in the office right now waiting for another mission. Team 8. I am pleased to inform you I have a C-rank mission for you. That is if Kurenai here feel like you're ready. My team is ready, Hokage-sama, said Kurenai. Teamwork with their team was flawless. She had Hinata lose her crush on Naruto, and Kiba focused more during the fights. Alright then, Team 7 was in their middle of their first C-rank mission to the Wave Country when they encounter more resistance than mission parameters. Protocol would have wanted for Kakashi Hatake, the senior officer, to withdraw from the mission, but it seems like he put it up to his genins, and they decided to take it. And needless to say, the Uchiha wanted to prove that he was the best in the world, said Naruto. That is correct, said Sarutobi. However, Shino, Abermi, sent some of his familiar back to warn some of his relatives, and in turn warned me about these new developments. Looking at their opposition, it will be safe to say they need reinforcement for this new mission. That's why Team 8 will be deploying out there to help them in their wave mission. Kurenai will assume leadership over the mission once Team 8 join Team 7. Is that clear? Yes, Hokage-sama, said Kurenai. Then dismiss and good luck, said Sarutobi, as Team 8 left. Moments later, they were heading towards the hidden wave. As, over the month, she went down into chakra and chakra control. As she teach her squad about chakra and mastering tree climbing. But Naruto already knew how to tree walk and water walk as well. It took Hinata a quick amount of time to do this because of the Hyuga's general control over their chakra, but it took Kiba double the time to do this, as Kurenai wanted to know what their elemental affinities were after her discussion with Naruto about his skills. Flashback. Naruto meet up with Kurenai as he promised her that he will explain the revelation of his powers. It was 7 in the morning when he arrived, as Kurenai was there with 2 other people, 2 females at what he could see. The first, she had flowing purple hair. She wore the whole en vogue hair without a mask, The beautiful katana strapped to her back. The next one was playing a kunai in her hands. As she wore a mesh shirt with a brown shirt over that, and you could rather see through the mesh. "Good morning, Kunai-sensei," Naruto said as he made it to them. "Good morning, Naruto. These two here are my best friends," she said, showing the other two persons on the field. "The one with the sword is Uzuki Yujeo. She worked for the Ondo Corps, as you can see by her gear. And this is Midorishi Anko. She worked for the IT department. It's a pleasure to meet your friend, Sensei." "Hi there, I'm Naruto Uzumaki," he said. "He's so cute. Can I eat him?" said Anko. Naruto eyebrow twitched. "Don't pay attention to her, Naruto," said Kunai. "I called them here to help me evaluate your skills. From the permission of the Hokage, of course. Yujiro here will evaluate your Kenjutsu, while Anko here will test your Taijutsu, and I will test your Genjutsu prowess. And then after, we should all see about your Ninjutsu. But this time, Naruto, no holding back. We want to see what you really got." "Yes, Sensei," Naruto said. "Yujiro, will you begin first?" As she pulled her katana, Naruto pulled out two kunais as he held in the reverse grip. She raised an eyebrow. "I thought you told Kunai that you had a great master over swords. Don't you have anything else at long reach?" she asked. Naruto simply chuckled at her question as he prepared himself for a spar. Wind style, as he thought something in his mind before his blades of his kunais started to extend out to the wind, but they were transparent same way. "Try me, Yujiro-san," he said. "Maybe I'll be the first one to draw blood, you never know." "Very well, Naruto-san. Here I come," she said as she rushed towards him. So fast, Naruto thought. As he blocked her katana though, with his kunai across guard, as Naruto made the wind fill his body. As Naruto started to come towards her, she calculated that she still had 5 seconds before he reached her. She was impressed with his stance, as he was able to block her hits and no opening was in his guard. But she was caught completely off guard. It took him less than 5 seconds as he sliced, and to her surprise it cut her, right above her stomach. She raised her hands. "Incredible," she said, as she looked at his kunais. "So this is the secret behind your kunai," she said. "Yes, Yujiro-san," Naruto said. "I named them. Wind style, wind cutter technique. It allows my wind chakra to extend any reach of the weapons I use. I can't use it to block physical attacks yet, but it grants me great surprise against my opponent when the first time I use it. And it's still difficult to read my reach, even when you know about the technique," Naruto said. "Amazing, your control over the wind element is astonishing for you to perform such a feat with a regular kunai. Sarutobi Asuma used special forged weapon to conduct his chakra, but I could still vision his reach. I suppose it's not 100 pure chakra channel into his weapon," she said. "Well, I can say that you're very skilled," she said, "but you're still lacking and leaving up some guard open," she said. "The enemy will use it against you to get behind your guards. But you have shown amazing ability and surprised with your speed and flexibility," she said. "Come and find me anytime you want some advice or anything you're lacking on for help. I am honored that you would think so highly of my skills, Yujiro-sensei," he said. "And I will most certainly come to you for advice in the future," he said to her. "That was impressive, kid," Anko yelled. "I can't wait for my turn now." "Okay," Naruto says, his sweat dropped as he made his way over to Anko. "Alright," Anko said, "first one to give up or lose consciousness is a loser." "Okay, Anko-san, I'm ready," Naruto said as he went into his Kitsune Taijutsu style. Anko charged at him with amazing speed as she launched kicks and punches straight towards his vitals. As Naruto was able to block and keep up with her until she noticed that, so she decided to kick it up a notch. "Senijashu," she said as several snakes came from her sleeve and wrapped around Naruto, trapping him. So this is the Hebai style, Naruto thought. "Is that all you got, kid?" Anko said. "I was just starting to warm up." Now to get out of this, Naruto thought. As, just like with the kunais earlier, his hands, this time the air around it started to blur as the wind blades tear right through the snakes. As he pulsed his entire body to wind and started to move off, Anko was surprised when the 4 different after images of him came at her. It was the same attack he used against Sasuke, but he used a lot more chakra this time, since he was going all around her. Anko could see the 4 Naruto all dashing around her, as she couldn't tell which one was the real one. "I guess you lose." Anko's eyes went wide as she looked behind her to see the real Naruto, as all the after images vanished. As Anko couldn't help but smile. "I guess you win, kid," she said. "You're making me feel all kind of mushy under my coat with what you just displayed." As Naruto took a step back from her as she had a grin on her face. "Well, kid, I must say, you're highly impressive than I thought. Who could have known that a kid your age would be at this level already?" Thanks for the lesson spar, Uncle Sensei. I'm highly honored that you think so much of my skills, said Naruto, as he bowed to her. Alright, stop with the formalities, she said. Come find me if you need help with your taijutsu, Uncle said with a smile. I will, he said with a smile. Very impressive, Naruto, said Kurenai as she came over. Well, I think it's time to see how you do against Genjutsu. Well, said Naruto as he rubbed the back of his head. My wing chakra control may be good, but I've never been able to perform Genjutsu. I think anything you throw at me would caught me off guard immediately. It's okay, Naruto, you're just still a genin, she said. I was just caught up in the moment thinking that all of your skills that you've shown so previously will be on par with the others. What about you just show me one of your best ninjutsu, she said, to see your ninjutsu in action. Alright, said Naruto, as he turned towards a clearing, looking towards over the trees, as he held his arm out. It was then a violent humming sound could be heard, as Naruto produced a massive winged dragon that went towards the trees and completely obliterated everything in its path. Kurenai could only watch in shock. Incredible, she said. The chakra and wing control requirements for that jutsu must be astonishing, said Yujeo. This kid is going to go far, Uncle thought, as she felt the winged dragon power like it could shake the entire forest. I must say you have talent, said Yujeo. I grew up with people like Uchiha Itachi and Kakashi Hatake, and I can see it right now. You have the talent to surpass all of them one day. I can say that right now you're at least Takabitsu Jonin level. You would be Jonin level if you can fix the Genjutsu problem. But that is what I'm here for, said Kurenai. I will teach you all that I can, she said, that smile on her face, making her to smile back. Are you sure I still can't eat him, Kurenai-chan? Asked Uncle, as everyone's sweat dropped at her antics. End of the flashback. After that they report Naruto moves the Hokage, as Sarutobi decided to keep this on the down low for now. Reason being, the only one that was able to have an affinity for something so strong was the second Hokage. He was literally able to pull the moisture from the air and use the water, and Naruto has the ability to use wind on a totally different level. If the elders or the civilian found out about this, they would think that the demon is getting too strong, their words. And the civilian council would want to use Naruto as a breeding stock to try and get many powerful more shinobis. And if this should ever leak to outside of the village, things would be bad. So for now, he would keep it on a down low until he's ready to use it against enemies and to protect himself and the people close to him. But we now have Team 8 at the Hidden Wave, as Naruto couldn't believe what he was seeing. The place was completely broken down. Yes, it was in a terrible state, as he could see children. They weren't even wearing clothes that much, it was barely rags hanging off their bodies. Hinata scanned the area with her Byakugan, as she saw Team 7 as they were going towards a two-story house over towards the distance. The group went over there as they came in front of Tazuna's house, where they will officially start their mission. But guys, I'll be in this episode right here. If you want to see more part of this, just comment down below and tell me that you want part 2, guys, and I'll be posting a new episode as soon as possible. But more for now, peace.